Okay, so we're here again with Juan, and we're going to talk to Juan today a little bit about his training, his mental toughness, and different things he's done when he's been in really low parts of his race. Because we want him to give advice to Crystal for when she gets first place at Leadville 100.
Absolutely.
Oh no! Is
So,
it
how
being
are we
put
going to
out
get
there?
her there?
Oh boy!
It's out in the world now.
Oh gosh!
So I think, there's definitely a mental aspect of trying to be successful in ultra racing. And there's definitely a physical aspect, and I think that's kind of easy. I don't want to say it's easy. It's easier to lay out, on paper and just tell yourself,
Yeah.
like, if I do these workouts, I'll be successful,
So, one thing I'm wondering, like, when you wake up in the day, when do you do your training? Are
In
you
the
doing
morning.
In the morning.
Do you do
Yeah.
one run a day, or do you do two?
Yep, one run a day generally. So this is kind of interesting too, right? Because this kind of comes into like workload and work stress on your body. So I can go up to probably 100 miles a week on 7 days a week on singles, But if I try doing 100 miles on 6 days, or if I try going over 100 miles for my body, I'll have to start doing doubles.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's something to obviously to think about too when you're trying to think about like how much stress am I putting on my body, and a little bit more in depth, I guess, than just logging 50 miles a week or 30 miles or 40 miles. I guess depending on your workload, So if you're going to do 50 miles on 6 days, but then you decide, hey, I'm going to do 50 miles on 5 days. Obviously, that's an increase in
Yeah.
workload, So that's almost the same increase as going to 60 or 55 on 6 days, So something to think about as well, yeah. So I do my workouts in the morning. And
How early?
probably
You get like a 3 a.m. person?
No.
Okay.
So I have 3 kids. They get up, go to school.
Okay.
Usually once they leave, then I'll leave.
Does
So.
your wife run?
My wife does run as well.
Okay.
Her first ultra, Hennepin 50K last year.
Yay,
Oh,
cool.
good.
Yeah, so I crewed her on that. So I was
Uh-huh.
out here last year for that. That was
Awesome.
awesome. So I'll get up, have my coffee. Then once I kind of feel ready to go and my kids are out the door, then I'll get in my run. So I guess that's the first thing is you gotta, so it goes back to mental toughness and not, I guess, quitting in ultras and forcing yourself to finish it. And I use the same thing. I coach people that are going to be in Air Force Special Ops. That's what I do for my civilian job. And I always tell them, you got to find your why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to find your why inside of you, why it's important that you accomplish whatever you're going to try and accomplish, And the why has to be more important, and if they were on a scale, it has to be heavier and it has to outweigh whatever other like difficulties or like pain or thoughts of quitting are going to come up in the race. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It has to be heavier than that, because that fatigue and those thoughts of quitting and that self-doubt, either on training runs or maybe you didn't get enough sleep last night and you don't want to run today. Your why always has to be enough to get you to get up and do that workout, So I think that's the first thing is try and figure out why you want to do it, and make sure it kind of goes deep, Doesn't have to be something you share with everybody, but make sure it's deep. Make sure it's meaningful for you.
Yeah.
And I think once you have that why, then really getting up every day and doing the work, and getting that run in, it becomes pretty easy, because it just is. That's how it is.
I think that's great
Yeah,
advice.
that is really
Sounds
good
like
advice.
Yeah.
me and going to the gym every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
I mean, you talked earlier about paying for something. I pay for my gym membership. I get up every morning, go to the gym, spend an hour up there, and come home, then start my day. But it's the same in a smaller scale as what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that's true kind of in life, if you want to be a doctor, an accountant, or whatever you're trying to do, if you want to be successful, you got to come up with some sort of why behind it, So, I'll come up with my why I want to do something, and then come up with my game plan, and then just make sure that every day you just kind of check that box to get you one step closer to accomplishing your goal, you know. And that's kind of, you know, like a metaphor for running an ultra, right? If you start a 100-mile race and you think about the whole 100-mile race, you'll become overwhelmed super quick, right?
Yeah.
You'll be like, 100 miles.
Yeah.
I'm at what mile? 7. I have 93 to go. I'm already
Yeah.
kind of tired and sweating a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So you really got to just, you know, 1 mile at a time, one step at a time, one aid station. Just worry about getting to that next block, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that your training blocks leading up to the race, they should be the same thing, you know? Don't focus on your weekly mileage. Don't focus on your whole 12-week training or 16-week training program. Just get up in the morning and do what you have to do that day.
Yeah.
So
And then
yeah.
how does that help? Then, you know, how do you take that to race day then?
So race day, it's literally the same exact thing, right? So I hold on to my why like near and dear to my heart. And when I feel tired, I reflect on that, like, hey, why am I here? Why is this so important for me to finish? And then really just, you know, breaking it up mile by mile, aid station by aid station. And on more than one occasion, I've gone to, can I actually just take another step? You know, that sounds crazy, but I've gotten to that point where it's like, hey, can I physically take another step? And if the answer is yes, then I just take another step.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, do I just want to stop because I'm in pain, or can I physically not go anymore? You know, and if I can keep going, I can take another step. Then I just take that another step. You know, and
I had
keep
that
training.
situation 2 weeks ago at the Hennepin. A gentleman out of Chicago was running his first 50K, and he was at aid station 20, ready to drop. He had 6 miles to go, and I just kept talking to him and, you know, trying to reassure him. There was another aid station 3 miles up the road. I told him, I'll be there. And I went down there, waited for him, talked to him, made sure he was okay. His wife went on down to the finish line, and I said, I'm going to go down to the finish line now. I'm going to walk back up, and I'll meet you. First thing he did, he was walking fast for 50K mile. I haven't walked yet, you know. He's pulling away from me and saying, no, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be helping you.
That's great.
But he did make it. He was happy as could be, and we were all in tears when he got to the finish line. Just because of trying to get him to do what he wanted to do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it, you know, that's really good advice too, when you're trying to come up with your race plan with your crew, right? You know, I think it's easier if you have people close to you to kind of explain to them maybe like how much it means to you to finish, and just remind them like, hey, don't let me quit, please. You know? Or please remind me of why this is so important to me in case I get tired and I kind of just want to throw my why out the door and forget about it, you know?
Yep, that can happen.
You know, it's easy to get there. It's easy to be like, that's not that good of a reason. Like, I just want to stop, you know? But it's always nice to have either pacers or crew or family, have somebody say, hey man, like you put all the work in, you know, like this is your time to shine, you know. So I like to tell people when you get ready to race, I think people get like race anxiety, or you know, I say race, but even just anxiety over trying to accomplish it. But it should be a joyous moment, right? Really, your race should be your reward to yourself for having done all the work.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And if you think of it like that, I think sometimes it's a little easier to swallow. Like, hey, this is my time to reward myself for being so dedicated and running all those miles and doing everything I had to be successful, you know? So,
yeah, you get to find out that training worked. You show up rested, you know, or tapered on race day.
Yep, absolutely.
And find out, you know, it works.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely helpful, you know, just having that thought. And I use that same thought with the kids I test for Air Force Special Ops, you know. They'll show up all the time just panicking and a little freaked out, and I'll tell them, hey man, you got to relax. Like, you've been working hard for this. Like, this is your time to reward yourself, to show yourself that all your hard work paid off, you know. So this is your time to perform, you know what I mean? So try and get out of that, like, hey, I'm just going to try and, you know, gut my way through this and try and really shine and try and reward yourself with a good performance, you know. So And we talked a little bit about the importance of coach. You know, I think a coach can be a good person to kind of explain this stuff to you along the way, you know, as you're going through your buildup. You know, if you have an experienced coach, they can kind of tell you this stuff, tell you the importance of having a good goal, good why, you know, trying to explain to you, you know, the ups and downs of an ultra, or even the ups and downs of ultra marathon training, right? So I know that I definitely have bad days. I know I definitely have days where I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I just don't want to run today.
Yeah.
Right? I would rather just, I don't know, eat pancakes and have a second cup of coffee or something, you know?
Yeah.
But you know that race day's coming. And you got to
Yeah.
get those miles in, you know? And I don't think anybody's ever ran and felt worse about it.
No,
right? You know
I
what
don't
mean?
think so. I've never
I-
went for a run and said, man, I wish
This
I
was
did."
awful.
I always feel better.
Yeah. Even if you have awful
Even
runs.
if you have awful mile, like if you're, I don't know what at the end you feel good.
Yeah.
Even if you start and you're like, oh gosh, but then after, okay, I like this. Okay, I'm good. You know, it's all about that mentality.
Like speed work.
Oh,
It's
gosh.
it's so hard when you're
Yeah.
doing it, but when you're done, I'm happier.
Very
I'm
rewarding.
so
Yep.
excited that it actually happened. I got it done. Like every single one of them it hurts the most. It's the most awful, but it's the most fun
Yeah.
too at the same time.
Yep.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. So I feel like you almost kind of run for those moments. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's what keeps me going, you know, those days where I nail a hard workout or I have a good race, or those days when you go out for an easy run and you run, you know, 10 or 15 seconds faster every mile just because you feel like you're flying that day,
Yeah.
you know? I love those days.
Yep.
That's the days that I live for, you know?
Yeah, those tiny improvements are
Yeah,
just it feels
absolutely.
I live for that too.
So, and I'll slug through a bunch of bad miles just to get one of those days. You
Yeah.
know, that's how much I like them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Have you ever had to come back from a really low moment in a race to be able to finish? Have you ever had to dig super deep and
Yeah, so I guess Bandera this last year, just to finish, I absolutely had to dig super deep. So the first 50K went by probably as good as I could hope. I got to the turnaround. I was in third, fourth place with another gentleman, and the first two guys had left the aid station. It looked like a minute, maybe a couple minutes ahead of me, and I probably should have played it like a little cooler and just took my time at the aid station and kind of relaxed, and I didn't. I got so excited, you know, and I rushed out, and I think without thinking, I think I just started hammering, you know, trying to catch these guys.
Yeah.
And probably like 4 miles later, I started feeling really bad. And then I'm like, oh man, like what's going on, you know? Then I'm trying to think like, yeah, I think maybe I was pushing too hard. I think maybe I haven't been taking any nutrition.
Yeah.
And then I could start seeing like the hopes of getting another golden ticket kind of fade away. I remember getting to the next aid station and thinking, oh, like I was telling my wife, like I'm hurting, I'm starting to hurt, you know, like I don't know, things are going sour, you know. And I'd been passed by 2 more guys, so I think I'm still in 5th place. So, you know, you can't quit when you're in 5th place.
Yeah.
You know? So I kind of kept going. There was like another maybe 10-mile loop or something like that, 8-mile loop. And then I got back to my wife, and I remember telling her like, I'm done racing for the day. You know, like I can't race anymore, you know, but I'm still going to finish.
Yeah.
I have to finish,
Yeah.
you know, like I can't. This is my first race after the DNF of Western States. I remember telling her, I just can't DNF again. You
Yeah.
know, like I have to finish this, you know. So I would take back off and jog along the course and just keep doing the best I can. And I remember seeing her again at 50 miles, and I'm hitting a super low moment, you know. I want to quit with every ounce in me wants to quit. I'm
Yeah.
physically exhausted. I'm hurting. Just things have gone awful, you know. And even at 50 miles of 100K, you still have 12 miles.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big
Left,
training
you know?
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and you start doing the mental math of you're like, oh man, like I'm going like, you know, I don't know, 15-minute miles. You're trying to multiply in your head, and you're like, I might have like 4 more hours out here. You know, you're like, I'm in a lot of pain right now. You know, you're like, if I walk in 12 miles, like, I'm not sure I can endure that much. You know, so I would try and jog as much as I could and try and take in fluids. And I remember I'm starting to cramp on the climbs. You know, so any like super steep inclines, I'm cramping up. I remember cramping, like complete leg cramp, to where I just kind of like tipped over on the trail and just sat there. And, you know, there's hikers coming by that are doing, I think a shorter course, the 50K or something, you know, and they're passing me and they're like, are you okay? And I'm just like, not really, but yeah, you know, like I'm okay as I guess I can be. And so I kept just, that was a one-step moment. You know, that was like, I'm out here in the middle of the course, and I could either just sit here and just cry about it and do nothing, or I could just try and keep taking one more step.
Yeah.
And really, that's what it amounted to, is I would just take one more step. You know, if I cramped, I would just wait till I stopped cramping. Then I would take one more step. Then I would loosen up a little bit. Then I would try jogging as much as I can. And then I just kept going, you know, but it was hard. So luckily my son paced me the last 5 miles or so.
Okay.
My son was able to pace me. Man, talk about the benefits of a pacer, you know. So I credit getting 4th at Leadville to a pacer, and I credit, you know, my son helping me with that last 5 miles of just really being able to just have somebody with you. You know, just kind of feel like that safe, like, well, at least if I cramp right now and fall over on the trail, I'm not going to die here, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you feel sometimes, you
Yeah,
know. You just
absolutely.
get lonely out there. And so, yeah, he paced me. Funny story. We were probably at like mile 58, and I remember I'm trying to like run as much as I can down this, you know, switchback. We're going downhill, and I remember I tripped hard, like hard. I fall on my face, you know, I'm just laying there. Both my legs go into full cramping, and I'm just like moaning hard, like, oh
No.
And my son, you know, I just don't think he knew what to do, you know. He's just seen his dad fall on his face, you know, and I'm just laying there moaning. And I remember he's like, oh, Dad, like, are you all right? I'm just like, oh. And he's like, oh, do you need like a spring or something, you know? He asked me if I want like a spring energy. I remember just like, no, son, like, I don't need a spring energy right now.
No.
So that was kind of we joke about that all the time now, you know, like, no, son, if I fall, I don't need a spring energy.
Does he like randomly make moaning noises at you now? Like he'll walk past you and go,
No, but I imagine he's going to watch this, so he's probably going to start. You know?
Oh, yep.
Thank you for that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was able to finish. Again, not the day I'd hoped for, but rewarding in itself to kind of go through one of those struggles and be able to overcome it and just finish, you know.
I feel like those struggles make you a better runner, a better person.
Yeah.
Helps you think about things differently.
Yeah. To some degree, I think that's kind of why we do this, right? You like the struggle, right? You like to struggle a little bit and feel like you overcame it, right?
Yep.
So if running 100 miles was easy, then we'd probably all run 500 miles.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's good. That was probably, I've had a few races, but that's probably the most recent one where I really had to dig deep to finish. So
Yeah, then you were telling me when we weren't on camera that you, even when you won your golden ticket, you did have thoughts during that race of dropping.
yeah, so at probably like mile 20, 23, you know, 24, up until, you know, I'd moved kind of into 3rd place, I definitely thought, yeah, I'll just quit at 50K. Like 50K is a good training run, you know? Like I didn't even really train for this. If I get in 50K today, that's a win, you know? I think that's funny because I think that's what you try doing whenever you're thinking about quitting, right?
Yeah.
You start
You start trying to
reason with
like
it.
reason.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you do.
If I do this, I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
you know, like, well, I mean, I still did 38 miles or I still did 50 of 100. You start trying to give yourselves little outs, you know? and that's the same thing day to day. Whenever you're in a hard training block, you'll find yourself trying to give you little outs, little reasons to not go on your run. Like, oh, I have a hard run on Saturday. Maybe I should take Thursday off in preparation, or I didn't get very much sleep last night, or I got a paper I got to write, or an email I have to send. You just grasp onto anything.
Have you been spying
can.
on me at home?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't
We
think
need
my
to
first
work on
place
your
Leadville's
why.
going to happen.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on Crystal's why and
Okay.
my why.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we all do that,
Yeah.
but you just got to get out there, put your
Yeah.
shoes on, right? That's
Yep.
what we all say. Get your shoes
Absolutely.
on, get moving. Yeah, that's probably the key.
Have you run today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Ran today.
I did not run today.
I
Well, we're
figure-
right by the canal. We can go for a run afterwards.
Yep. Ran today. So. Yep. Ran today. I think I'll take tomorrow off. Me and my son are going to the Green Bay Packer game. So
Oh, fun.
Go Green Bay.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
actually
Ed's
not.
a Green Bay Packer
You're a
fan.
Packer fan?
I'm actually a
Nice.
Raiders fan.
Oh,
Oh.
So that's why we're
Oh.
going. Again, originally from California, so you guys have to
Yeah,
forgive
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do root for Green Bay when they're not playing the Raiders, but
yeah. Okay.
so yeah, I'll probably take tomorrow off. But yeah,
Are you training for something right now?
I might be running a 50-mile in November if I'm up for it. So that's what I'm training for. We'll
Okay.
probably wait until the very last minute to see how my body's doing.
Oh, okay.
So I just ran the Air Force Marathon in September 20th, around there.
Oh,
So I'm kind of trying to parlay some of the Air Force speed.
yeah. I think
Oh,
I saw
yeah.
on Facebook like a big, huge trophy or something.
Yep,
Yeah,
they
so
did
what
send me a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat. I didn't expect
So
it.
what did you? How did that go? What did you do?
I ended up getting 4th place overall, and then I think the 3rd place guy was actually, in the military also, but I think he got a 3rd place overall trophy.
Okay.
So then I think the military winner trophy fell to me.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
That's
So you were
Awesome.
first military.
Yeah, technically
Awesome.
2nd, but 1st because he was 3rd. So
Okay.
I don't know how that works.
Well, that's
But
really
they sent me the
impressive.
trophy, so I took it, So yeah, that was pretty neat. That was a hard day. Ended up getting pretty hot towards the end.
Where
it
was that race at?
In Ohio.
Ohio? Okay.
Yeah, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio.
okay.
So
Cool.
ending temps were like about 79-ish.
Wow.
And the last 4 or 5 miles of that course, they're like rolling hills, so it was kind of like a double gut punch. People were they were dying. So that was one of the races where I really was like, you've run 100 miles, like don't give up now. You can run
Yeah.
5 miles, even if you have to slow down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was tough though. It was tough, but yeah. So I'm trying to see if I can parlay some of that speed into maybe a faster 50-mile, but still kind of trying to work into some a little bit more volume, a little bit more ultra-specific training.
Yeah.
See if I can have enough, I guess, leg strength to carry me 50 miles. So we'll see what happens.
You should check out Frozen Gnome 50K.
I'll put it on my calendar. When is
Okay.
it?
January.
January.
11th, I think,
January
next year.
11th.
2020, it's
Yeah.
like the second weekend of January.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to, like, we get very competitive runners there because it's just stupid hard
Yeah.
race and the winter and that
Butt
and we
slide
like
hill.
to
The snow.
yeah butt slide hill. People like to make stuff very hard on themselves.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty good friends with Corey. I think he.
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I know he won it last year.
yeah. He has the course record
Yeah.
by about 20 minutes over the second.
Yep. Yeah. So
Passes.
I'm pretty. I'm familiar with the race through him, I guess.
Okay,
So yeah, that's pretty good. We'll see what happens.
yeah.
January's
Take
a good
some of
time.
that speed over there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cold though.
It is.
It is
well,
cold.
yeah, but you're done in like no time.
Yeah. I mean, it's still 4 hours in the
Yeah.
freezing cold.
Yeah, that's
Corey
true.
wore his speedos
wore
Yeah, I
his feet
seen
up.
that.
last year.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll put it on the calendar.
Okay.
January. We'll see what's
Awesome.
going on. So I'm always fairly fit. I could run 50Ks. 50Ks.
It's a good way to start the year out.
Yeah.
That's not too big of a pill to swallow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
guys
so
for having
much.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I feel very motivated after talking to you.
I know. I'm going to
Not
work on
first
my.
place Leadville motivated, but
not yet.
some kind
I
of
mean, we still got like
motivated.
10 months or so.
Yeah.
So we can work on your motivation.
We're going to find our whys.
We're going to find, yep, we're finding our whys.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Great advice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was good talking to you.